Brad, I know you had a lot of guys contribute. We could just talk about what you got from Jay Crowder tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a stat sheet in front of me, so I don't know exactly what. Thanks, Bill. I know that he was really good. Yeah, obviously the stats back that up. No, I thought he did a lot of good things, and we had to play small, so he's playing at the 4 a lot. He ended up on Whiteside a couple of different times on blockouts. He had to guard James Johnson, who's just a matchup nightmare, the way that they play. And I thought he did a lot of good things, and obviously the points were huge too.
Brett, is it hard to manage? Obviously, you've got other guys like Jay Crowder that step up and make plays and all that, but is it hard to manage with Isaiah because just the on and off court numbers disparity?
I don't know what they've been over the last couple of weeks because that's probably too small of a sample size. But I like the way that we've been able to rotate in certain games with bringing Al back in with that second unit, and I think we'll continue to find our different ways. I thought that today it wasn't necessarily about first unit, second unit as much as, we knew we were going to have to play small a lot of the game. And, that became pretty obvious, I thought, early. And then with the exception of, I thought we played really well at the start of the third quarter when we were more traditional.
And going offense, defense with him down the stretch, is that difficult? Because if you get a rebound,
No, with 3 timeouts, we're calling a timeout if we have to get a possession back. If you don't have a timeout, maybe a little bit different. If you're down multiple possessions, maybe a little bit different. The reason that I do that is just simply because we're gonna have to be bigger to switch, and so it just gives us an opportunity to really switch and defend, and hopefully do so, make them take long contested twos.
That small lineup you went to down the stretch hasn't really been good this season very much. Was it nice for you to see them kind of dig one out here? Obviously, the Heat play small and kind of make you go to stuff like that. But
I mean, I think a large reason why it struggled is because each team's a little bit different, and obviously, we're small at 4 positions when we do that, and 5 when Whiteside's on the court. But because of the way that they drive the ball, I just felt like our smaller was going to be better. Probably made a mistake not playing Terry in the first half because I think his speed and his ability to keep up with those guards is something that we need to look at. Obviously if we play these guys again, but that's a heck of a team, and Coach Spolster's done a great job.
Okay. Brad, first of all, have you ever seen a goaltending on a free throw? And what about Marcus's play, especially that rebound?
The rebound was huge. No, I haven't, and I didn't know if it was. It just obviously from my angle I can't tell, but it looked like reached over, but I couldn't tell as well. But our guys were pretty adamant about it. And then Marcus makes toughness plays all the time, but not only securing that rebound, but having the toughness to somehow keep the ball and deliver a pass is pretty incredible.
Brad, how big was it must have been a huge celebration in the dressing room afterwards, moving into a tie with Cleveland for first place and the thing. Was there guys dumping water on you or anything like that?
No one said a word. I think I talked about this earlier. Obviously the guys, because most of them, to be honest, because they get asked so much, some of them obviously have already said they watch it pretty closely. But, I've tried to say, hey, it's about playing as well as we can, and that stuff will all sort itself out. But the next game is the most important thing. And, tomorrow being a recovery day, being a day off is a good thing. We need a day like that and get ready to play Milwaukee Wednesday. And after the next day games, we'll know where we stand. We'll see.
Coach, on a night like this where you guys didn't necessarily have your A game in the first quarter and a half or so, how can a win like this contribute to what you guys are trying to build as the playoffs get closer and closer?
Well, I think you have to always find ways to gut it out, but I think sometimes you have your A game because the other team doesn't have theirs, right? And sometimes you don't have your A game because it's being forced upon you by them. And Miami was really good. and they deserve credit for that. You know, we didn't have our A game because they were really dictating how the game was going to be played on both ends of the floor with their speed, and you know, made it tough on us. And so, you know, the kind of, you know, it forced our hand a little bit with lineups and those things.
Hey, Brad, Marcus has struggled from the field past 2 weeks. How do you not let his offense dictate the other things he does? Because obviously he makes big plays throughout the other aspects.
You know what? I've said this before. Hey, Marcus could score 30 in a game and hit every shot, or he could score 0 and not hit a shot. And his two biggest strengths are still his competitiveness and his brains. He's really smart and he's really tough. And those two things mean more than any points or no points that he could score. And so I don't even really think about it. I just want him to continue being a leader and being contagious and competing. And, you know, his savvy's really, really good. And we've talked about that ever since he's been here. I mean, he's got an understanding and instincts that are just, you know, really special.
Coach, they scored 110 points or close to it. But what did you think of the defense? I thought switching seemed to be
really good in the third quarter. Not as good at the start of the fourth. Really good at the end of the fourth. And we struggled to keep up with their speed in the first half. Part of that was just there were some tough matchups out there for us, and part of it was we were probably a little bit too far off the body. I mean, I thought they were operating in their, you know, in a comfortable zone a lot, and makes it tough. James Johnson's just really tough to match up with, because when he has the ball, you know, a lot of teams are going to throw their 4s or 5s on him, and he just gets so low that everybody else gets handoffs and things and turns a corner, and all of a sudden they're operating at 15 feet instead of 30. So, you know, every team that plays against them has to address that.
Coach, you mentioned Amir Johnson a couple of times in these last couple of weeks in terms of the tone setting that he's done early in the impact. Even though he didn't play in the fourth, you know, what did he mean there in that first 3 quarters?
The only reason he didn't play in the fourth is because we could only play one quote forward, whatever it was, with Jay at the 4. So, yeah, he's been great, and he needs, you know, he's looking forward to a recovery day tomorrow, because he's played, you know, he's played in the most games for us. He's been very reliable all season, but he's just continued to get better as the season's progressed. Thanks.